I'm a solo traveler. I love to travel. And there's various levels of travel that I'll do by myself. Like just me, I'll probably do anything in Europe because it's pretty easy to navigate. But if I want to do some of these kind of far out destinations that I don't know a lot about, or maybe, I can't get by speaking English, or there's a currency that I don't understand, or the area is a little bit less developed, potentially dangerous, I'm going to travel with a group, like a group tour. And so solo travel, even with a group tour, I've got 5 things that I think are really helpful for safety, just to make sure that you're prepared. So whether you're out on your own or you're on your own within a group, you're going to have free time, and you're going to have periods of time where you have to kind of get back and forth on your own. So first thing I recommend is whenever you check into a hotel, drop a pin. That way, if you're wandering around and you kind of lose track of where you're at, you can always refer back to that pin on your phone to map yourself back to your hotel. So that's the first thing I do when I check into a hotel. Also with hotels, number 2, just make sure you're not on the first floor. If the hotel has you on the first floor, ask them to move the room. If you're whether you're by yourself or with a couple, first floor is just not the best place to be. It's kind of the easiest place for someone to break into. So don't recommend the first floor if you can avoid it. Use the hotel safe. I know it may sound silly, but if you're out and about and you don't need your passport for that day, or cash for that matter, like maybe you've brought cash because you're going to pay the tour manager in a tip at the end of the tour, make sure to put the cash, the passport, any medication, and like any electronic things that you're not using, and basically anything of value, put that in the safe. And don't wear jewelry on these tours. No fancy jewelry. Leave it at home. If you are somebody who, like me until recently, always relied on your cell phone to check the time, I would recommend just getting a really cheap watch, digital, whatever, just something that you don't care about, but something that you can wear on your wrist. The less often you're pulling your phone out of your purse, the better, right? I mean, everybody's going to know you're a tourist. There's no way around it. But there are things you can do that make you look less like a naive tourist. And so if you're pulling your phone out constantly, you're putting yourself at risk of having that phone stolen. Or people might be thinking, oh, this person's lost, or this person, so it's a little easier to be taken advantage of. So the less you pull out your phone, the better. So I recommend a watch. If you're going to use a purse, I would use a crossbody purse. I think the brand I use is Bagolini. It's pretty sturdy. And so if you have it across your body, it's always in your sight. I've always got my hands kind of resting on it. There's no guarantee you're not going to get pickpocketed or mugged or whatever. That can happen anywhere. That can happen here in the United States. But that carrying like that lets everybody around you know you're fully aware of where your things are. And so you look a little less naive than somebody who's wearing a backpack or a wallet in the back of their pants, or, who's got a purse wide open as they're walking. There are always people out there scamming and looking for you. And then lastly, if you need to do transportation, first of all, find out if there's Uber, because Uber is probably your most reliable. It's what you're used to here in the States. You can always verify that your Uber driver is who they're supposed to be based on their license plate. So if you've got the option to use Uber, use it. But there are definitely locations that don't use that, and they rely on taxis. You want to find out about the taxi situation, because not every taxi is legit. Some of them are scammers. Your hotel is your best bet to tell you which taxis to use. So those are 5 kind of main things that I do to consider when I'm traveling, whether I'm by myself or I'm traveling with a group, because even in group travel, you're going to get free time on your own, and you have to figure out how to make it back or be on time or know where you are. So just some helpful things that I've used in my time of travel. I think just a couple other things that I think of is particularly when I've been in some of the more dangerous locations or less developed areas, like I love to just get out of the hotel and pound the pavement. I feel very comfortable doing that in Europe. But there's definitely been a couple of times I've walked out of a hotel, walked to the end of the block, and realized I shouldn't be out here. Quito, Ecuador is one of those. I would say Cape Town, Johannesburg in South Africa also. There are just some places that you just stick with your group, don't wander out. Use the hotel for the restaurant, for a bar, things like that. Don't drink far away from the hotel where you have to get back and you might be a little fuzzy headed. So just know your environment. If you've got a tour manager that's giving you advice about where to go and where not to go, listen to that. If you're asking the hotel, listen to them. But there's definitely going to be situations where you just don't want to venture out. And even I, who love to be independent, go out and shop, I listen to those recommendations and my gut instinct. Just always be aware of your surroundings. Know that there are always scammers looking for you. They might, a group might try to approach you and distract you. Don't let anybody offer to take your picture with your phone, things like that. Just, you don't have to be like rude and cold throughout your whole trip, which, sometimes I am, but just those are things to keep in mind as you travel, and stay safe and hopefully enjoy your trip, because you shouldn't feel like you can't go to these destinations because you're alone, or you feel like, oh, I'm a solo traveler, I don't want to go on a group trip that has a lot of other couples, like I'm not going to have a great experience. Yes, you are. Other couples, for the most part, are really welcoming and interesting to talk to. And again, you'll get your free time, so you can do your own things depending on the level of safety and how you feel. But just to share some of the destinations I've been to with group travel, and I, knock on wood, have not had any negative experiences because I've taken all of these sort of precautions. I have been to Ecuador, Peru, Java, Bali. I've been to Vietnam, Cambodia. Goodness, I'm sure I'm South Africa, Kenya, Rwanda, Morocco, all places I wouldn't go by myself. Because again, I don't feel comfortable navigating the language, the culture, the currency. I don't know what's safe and what's not. I don't necessarily know what the hotel situations are and the taxi situations. So I do rely on group travel because they book in reputable places and make sure that my safety is top of mind. And then that way I don't have so much to worry about. I don't have to worry about an itinerary. I don't have to worry about all the planning and the details that go into it. So for me, it's worth paying for to have a group travel do that. But I'm an introvert. Enough time with groups, I want to cleanse my palate, I'll do Europe. And so that's another one I can talk about at a future time. But those are just kind of my 5 main things to consider when traveling on your own. So good luck, happy trails, and I encourage female solo travel in every possible way because it's just the best experience on earth.